This Thon Nian only needs the flash skill to defeat the final boss. And then the grand finale of this flashy move was Thon Nian and the dark evil dragon Black Knight, 13, reincarnating together into the easy world. Right as everything was just kicking off. But man, talk about bad luck. Thon Nian just opened his eyes and realized the situation. Some assassin squad was tailing him so close he could barely breathe. That sneaky brat ran off somewhere, and the mysterious black-clad crew immediately went full-on hunt mode for Baek Yoo Son. "There's a house over there, check it out fast," someone shouted after spotting it. Baek Yoo Son feared losing his edge, staying silent and watching carefully. What now? Time's tight and he's too weak to fight them head-on. Clenching his fists, he tried to mix his 15 years of experience with this demon's power to come up with a plan. But before, it was just simple moves. Now reincarnated as the main character. Damn, it's way tougher than expected. "You can use the blink skill," the system screen suddenly notified. Baek Yoo Son was dumbfounded, wondering what the hell that meant. He could actually use blink. He quickly pulled up the info. Blink cooldown none. Max distance 9 meters. Max uses 1. Cooldown 3 seconds. It's pretty damn tough to outsmart a whole assassin squad with just this one move. With no time left, Baek Yoo Son had no choice but to take a blind leap. Thon Nian sprinted out of the port like a maniac. The pursuers saw him and instantly went berserk, chasing hard. Baek Yoo Son took his first steps, and the first part of the tutorial popped up. The objective: escape the pursuers, using blink. Ahead was nothing but snow, and the blizzard made the environment even harsher. Baek Yoo Son wiped sweat from his face, running while calculating these guys were loaded with magic, so they were faster than him. Besides, the only way to pull off a successful escape was to use blink. Stay calm. You've blinked countless times before. Your sense of timing is ingrained in your instincts now. "You bastard, you're not gonna stop, huh?" The pursuers kept closing in relentlessly. Baek Yoo Son glanced back while running, knowing the biggest weakness of blink was if the user misjudged distance. They could crash into something and get wrecked instantly. But that wasn't the case for him. Just as the pursuers were closing in, digging a trap to take him down, Baek Yoo Son suddenly blinked, leaving them dumbfounded and flat on their backs. Baek Yoo Son grinned wide. He nailed it. The others were shocked, scrambling to their feet and stopping. What the hell? That was blink. Is he a mage? The leader was dead set on catching him no matter what. He yelled at his crew, "Don't waste time. After blinking, users usually get paralyzed for about 2 seconds, so that's our chance." But his guess was off. Baek Yoo Son didn't freeze up at all. He kept charging forward like a bullet. Wait, how the hell is that guy still moving? They looked at each other, baffled. Baek Yoo Son had no plans to stop. His whole body reeked of sweat and wild herbs, breathing ragged like a dog, eyes fixed ahead, pushing himself to keep going. "Be careful, even more careful. I gotta use the terrain of this hill to my advantage because any player who doesn't master blink right now won't make it to the next part." But in reality, 99% of players using Baek Yoo Son can't get past this tutorial. And even the 1% who do pass can't grasp how to control blink distance and chain blinking properly. But facing death, passion turns into fire. Baek Yoo Son didn't overthink it, counted 1, 2, 3 in his head, then launched a powerful jump. Using blink in terrain like this, that bastard's crazy. They're all freaking out and none of them dare to make a move anymore. The leader scowled, giving orders. Mages who can use magic, step forward and attack that bastard from a distance. Baek Yoo Son turned to look, realizing the enemy's plan to use magic. This was the start of the second part of the tutorial: blink to dodge the incoming magic missiles. Before you could see behind you, but now, no way you can dodge that shit. But when things get tough, the system's got your back. The Magic Syndrome skill instantly activated. The Magic Syndrome support skills, Sixth Sense and Perception Acceleration, all kicked in at once. Baek Yoo Son could spot the magic attacks and dodge them easily. He blinked, flew a few meters away from the attack spot, landed and sighed with relief. He almost got wiped out. Finally, the third tutorial: blink across the cliff. The only way to clear it is perfect blink distance control. Then you'll face some passing mages and an escape route. That's the end of the tutorial. Baek Yoo Son clenched his fists, scanning around, silently cursing whoever made this deadly tutorial. To clear this cliff, you gotta time your landing perfectly. If you overshoot, you're toast. Normally you could try a few times, but this is reality. No retries, just straight up death. There are about 20 floating rocks. Jumping across one by one sounds easy, but who the hell can pull that off? Baek Yoo Son still hadn't dared to jump when that guy in black got dangerously close. Watching them from afar, he couldn't help but think distance between us is about 100 meters. Since my blink has a 3-charge cooldown, that time isn't enough to jump across. Looks like the best way to survive is to take them down one by one. so he used a hit-and-run tactic, hiding behind bushes, waiting silently for the right moment to strike. Before, the system wouldn't let me attack them. But this is reality, no system rules, forcing me to follow, Baek Yoo Son thought. He coldly drew his dagger. Now killing didn't bother him. Not because they're enemies of his parents in the story, but simply because he believed he could win. If not win, then damn well better win, no way he'd lose. He's the favorite of the boss. It's him, grab that brat. The black-clad leader barked orders when he saw Baek Yoo Son right in front of him. They shouted confidently and charged together. You dare face us alone, stupid. You're done for the black-clad, guy yelled excitedly inside his head. Baek Yoo Son stayed cold and steady, unfazed, moving forward. The target distance was 8.7 meters. Baek Yoo Son smirked and suddenly blinked straight through, stabbing the guy in front. The leader was caught off guard, stunned so hard, he almost flipped over, only managing a shout before his lackey dropped dead at his feet. Pulling out his spear, he shoved the enemy back to catch them off guard, then immediately blinked away to create distance and escape. The leader was totally dumbfounded, then panicked when he realized the brat had gotten far away. The boss barked orders to the others, chase him down, no matter what, don't let him get away. Baek Yoo Son kept trying to break free, sprinting with gritted teeth, his mind racing with worries. I handled one guy, but the next attack won't be so easy. What the hell? Why's it so quiet? They're not chasing anymore. Suddenly, Baek Yoo Son stopped on a rock ledge, turned around and realized something was up. No, they were casting spells again. Before Baek Yoo Son could even analyze the situation, they started firing shots right at his tail. In this life-or-death moment, Baek Yoo Son's face went pale as he scanned the area, hoping to find some kind of lifesaver. There it is, a branch on the rock wall across the ravine. Baek Yoo Son blinked and jumped straight down, clutching it with his teeth as he grabbed hold. The explosion ended, smoke billowing everywhere. The leader stepped forward, eyes narrowed, muttering, "Make him pay for his arrogance." But, surprise, no one was around. Then, out of nowhere, Baek Yoo Son dashed in spear in hand and drove it straight through the guy next to the leader's chest. Baek Yoo Son made smart use of Blink's trait. It keeps momentum before and after teleporting. The scream of pain shattered the silence. The guy only managed to ask what just happened before falling still. Exhausted and sweat-drenched hair plastered to his face, Baek Yoo Son gripped his spear tight, eyeing the last two enemies, hoping to finish them before the others caught up. Yo, who's this kid? Compared to Fapdu, his reaction speed is insane. What the hell are you? The guy in front asked, curious. Baek Yoo Son wiped blood from his face, silently praising his own lightning-fast reflexes. But he knew he couldn't dodge forever, especially in close combat. He had to end this fast. Seeing Baek Yoo Son wipe off the blood, the jerk pulled out his massive flaming sword ready to throw down. I've figured out your move. You only use Blink with that spear. As long as I protect my face, that spear won't hurt me. Be careful wiping that off, you won't get away. Come here, bring it on. He charged, swinging his sword to send out a shockwave, confident he'd read Baek Yoo Son's moves. Baek Yoo Son clenched his teeth. Don't be scared tomorrow, let's see who's the real king of strikes. Spear in hand, he lunged forward, but he wasn't going for the leader, he aimed for the guy behind him. The guy panicked, eyes wide, turning to look at Baek Yoo Son in full freak-out mode. Damn, you were running like a scared little rat just now. Don't think I'm going easy on you just 'cause you're a kid. This time I'm gonna finish you. Baek Yoo Son sneered, thankful. The guy gave him the perfect opening to strike. Without hesitation, he grabbed the spear in one hand and the lance in the other, leaping forward. The other dude was pissed off, no longer thinking straight, just swinging his sword wildly. He silently watched, analyzing every single move Baek Yoo Son made. Charging straight with Blink could get countered. Was he planning to throw his spear to draw attention forward, then attack from the sides? I'm not gonna let you get your way, not a chance, he smirked, big thinking to himself that all he needed now was one more move to finish this. But before he could do anything, still holding the sword, he felt a chill from below. Baek Yoo Son had already stabbed through his heart without him even realizing it. No way that kid planned to attack the front all along, he only had time to question himself before going limp. At that moment, the announcement that part 1 of escaping the chase was complete echoed. Only then did Baek Yoo Son finally exhale in relief. Next came the notification of experience points gained, along with a promise of a bonus part for story development in the Galaxy project. Baek Yoo Son collapsed to the ground, limbs trembling, his whole body battered, blood staining everything around him. That's right, this wasn't a dream, his first Blink teleport, not his first fight, and the first time he stunned someone to admire a naked chicken altar. Baek Yoo Son muttered, I begged to survive, then slowly stood up, calmly gathering himself to look toward the cliff edge, ready to bounce from this place. Pausing for a sec, Baek Yoo Son suddenly remembered he had 0 cash on him, so he quickly rummaged through some sharp items to grab a bit of money to keep his stomach from growling. Luckily, this crew had some cash on them. He gathered about 2 million won, almost 2 million in his pocket. A little cash is better than none. The big issue now was how to jump over this cliff. "Anyone here? Over here?" Baek Yoo Son shouted, looking up with eyes shining full of hope. That was the group of necromancer mages from the tutorial. "Peace, raise your hands high, I'm here." "No bridge nearby, can you jump across the other side?" quickly replied. "I'm about to jump." The guys nearby urged him not to wait, saying only a level 3 knight could clear this jump, and he looked too fragile to pull it off. Before his words could help, Baek Yoo Son darted like a monkey already halfway across the cliff. The fans screamed, eyes wide in shock, mouths agape, asking each other, was that a necromancer's jump? A blink teleport? But blink teleports can't control location or distance. How was that even possible? While they were still puzzled, suddenly the group panicked. Were those two traveling with the guy? Right after that question, a barrage of necromancer bullets shot toward Baek Yoo Son. The young man couldn't react in time. By the time he realized, he almost became a roasted chicken. Luckily, he dodged just in time. Those guys teamed up with the water spirits earlier. Dangerous stuff, he thought, as he eyed them. Blink teleport cooldown is 3 seconds. If all those necromancers attacked together, it'd be impossible. Baek Yoo Son scanned around, trying to find another floating rock to use as a foothold. Before he could do anything, the others fired again, a straight line of bullets whizzing past his face, snatching a few hairs. Baek Yoo Son instinctively stepped back, lost balance, and fell straight down. He was scared shitless. The rocks were too far to reach. Baek Yoo Son prayed he'd land on some rock below. At that moment he blinked and stretched out his hands, grabbing onto a sliver of hope. And then luck was on his side. The young man successfully grabbed a nearby rock. He was barely hanging on, but those two jerks wouldn't back off, firing magical bullets non-stop. They aimed straight at him, and Baek Yoo Son, stuck mid-air, helplessly watched the magic hurtling toward him. Just when he thought he was about to get a front-row seat to a naked disaster, thank God no thank the girl who saved him. The sorceress nearby stepped in, launching an ice spear, wrapped in lightning, that perfectly countered the fire magic from those guys, saving his ass. Seeing a strong opponent, the two dudes chickened out and bailed, scared stiff. Once they took off, Baek Yoo Son finally exhaled, feeling like he'd actually made it out alive. He shakily got up, thanking the others for their help. "I'm not doing this for thanks, so don't worry about it," the girl replied coolly. Baek Yoo Son paused for a sec, nodded quietly, but then totally blanked out. She had the clearest voice he'd ever heard, but seemed way more distant than he expected. He chuckled softly to himself. As for those assholes, even though they're known as a gang that robs nearby travelers, it's actually the demon cult pulling the strings behind the scenes. Anyway, it's all over now. The moment Baek Yoo Son escaped that hellhole, he'd be stepping into the territory of the Mage Guild, and the demon cult wouldn't dare follow him there. Besides, they don't even know who he is. The first phase ended, and the system sent a notification phase 2, joining Stella Academy. Baek Yoo Son let out a surprised, "Oh, it wasn't too tough," but then he freaked out, wondering how the hell he was supposed to enjoy school life at his age. After being saved, Baek Yoo Son and the others set off for the city. While asleep, he dreamed of his mom and the painful memories of discovering his own mana syndrome. His head throbbed like crazy. Jolting awake, he wondered if those were his memories or someone else's. Looking out the window, dawn was just breaking. "Oh, you're up, I was about to wake you. We're almost at Akanyu's neighboring city, Le Roy Cha. I saw you spacing out and thought I'd say hi." The carriage stopped for a break. Baek Yoo Son dragged himself out, stretching tiredly. The blue-haired girl noticed him and smiled shyly. The young guy was about to greet her, but seeing her mood, he held back, just sneaking glances with a cold smile. Things were going smoothly, though he was still worried. Luckily, the timeline was more modern than medieval. Baek Yoo Son thought quietly. Here, survival magic exists, and cities like Eiger have safe zones with flying ships and teleport gates for easy travel. They were about to reach Le Roy Cha and board a flying ship. Le Roy Cha lies on the road to Akanium, where the real story begins, with famous mages, battalions of mage knights, and 5 prestigious academies. And the academy that produces the most powerful mages, as well as the top students, is none other than Stella Academy. Of course, the academy is the gathering spot for all the geniuses and nobles across the continent. I seriously can't wrap my head around how Baek Yoo Son even got accepted there. It's totally unreal. Waiting was killing him, so the guy opened up his system panel to check. Mana Syndrome level 1 power boost by 3%, agility boost by 3%, and lightness boost by 10%. Sixth Sense drains the user's mental energy when activated. detects mana within a 12-meter radius, and triggers detection automatically when danger is sensed. Reading while staring, the guy felt salty. The damn physical limit was set so Baek Yoo Son couldn't store mana in his body. It's called mana syndrome. It's like a curse was cast on him. Yet somehow, Baek Yoo Son can still detect surrounding mana with his sixth sense, and even sense any attack aimed at him, even when not paying attention. But nothing's free. The cost is a huge drain on mental energy, so the aftermath after using it is pretty severe. Next up are the character stats. Strength 1 star, 59%, Agility 1 star, 97%, Lightness 1 star, 81%, Endurance 1 star, 51%, Resistance 1 star, 97%, Mental Energy 1 star, 43%. Remaining mana XP is 0, and the teleport skill level is 0. Baek Yoo Son shrugged it off, thinking that's not too shabby. Those starting stats aren't bad at all. Because the original Baek Yoo Son had super low agility stats. I've been grinding for 10 years straight, but the highest level I ever got was just 8 stars in stamina and agility. Maybe I should focus on boosting agility to enhance my sixth sense and reaction speed first. There'll be other ways to increase stamina and lightness anyway, he thought, then started working with his hands as planned. Perfect. Now the main issue is that damn syndrome. Baek Yoo Son looked visibly down, feeling heavy inside. If he didn't train it, he wouldn't survive long. He had to upgrade it into a natural, physical, secret art. The way to strengthen mana syndrome is at Stella Academy, meaning he had to go there if he wanted to stop the apocalypse and cure this syndrome. He exhaled deeply, feeling zero motivation to go, wishing someone could just help him out. But dream on, babe. It's time to hit the road. Before long, the second chapter of the dude's schoolyard saga kicked off again. He quickly boarded the train heading to Aconium just like the main storyline. But man, it's scary here already. That kid's looking around like he's lost or something. The rich kid saw Baek Yoo Son's clueless face and just started messing with him. That dude's never been on a flying ship before, must be some country bumpkin, another guy shot back. Seeing you're not up for chatting, they stepped closer, hands on hips, judging, wondering why Stella lets commoners in. Stella's supposed to be the most prestigious academy in the world, yet these nobodies are trashing its rep this season. Baek Yoo Son sighed, knowing he'd run into these clowns sooner or later, thinking to himself, trash is trash everywhere. The other guy got totally ignored, pissed off, and when the other side turned their backs, he yelled out insults behind them. Just side with us, huh? You little punk, don't mess with him. Still unsatisfied, he tried to chase them down for a fight, but got blocked by the crowd ahead. Entering cool as hell, the absolute queen bee at this moment, was Princess Hong Bijan Adolabit from the Adolabit Kingdom. Everyone started whispering, and the purple-haired dude tried to seize the moment to greet her, but got cold-shouldered again. Turns out she's the villainess of this world, Baek Yoo Son said, staring at the princess. According to the story, Hong Bijan is one of the main characters here, always clashing with the heroine and doomed to fade out by the endgame. No matter what path she takes, her fate is either a brutal death or getting bullied by the whole academy before being expelled. Once she went through something so humiliating she never dared to step outside again. Seems like the world's creators had a personal grudge wanting to bury her like that. Word is all the guys are crazy about her, and yeah, she's seriously gorgeous. Feels like if I made a move, she'd just eat me alive, Baek Yoo Son thought, quietly rubbing his empty stomach as he headed to the cafeteria to grab some grub. But broke like him, no cash to spare, everything's crazy expensive, so he had to sneak in quietly, waiting to chow down at Aconium all at once. Just then, the announcement for landing came through. We'll arrive at Aconium in 10 minutes. Please gather on the first floor. Baek Yoo Son chuckled softly, feeling a bit reassured. Finally, it's starting. No matter what, this place is my reality now. Time to fight. Leaning his back against the window, stomach growling, he waited, feeling confident but still a bit anxious. Luckily, I handled that well. But can I really survive at Stella Academy? No, scratch that. Can I survive in this world at all? He glanced outside, silently wishing for something to help him out in this mess. Then Baek Yoo Son suddenly remembered an unchecked notification and hurriedly opened it up to check. Galaxy Project offers you a special gift. 1. An item lower in rank than the version you currently own. 2. A skill lower in rank than the version you currently own. 3. Experience points. Those were the only options he got. Baek Yoo Son rubbed his chin, thinking at least this system's got some ethics. Let's see, what should I pick? Should I go for counterattack or super speed? Based on the real situation, if the item's rank is too high, it will be downgraded. Baek Yoo Son read this line and couldn't help but feel a bit annoyed. If it doesn't work, he could just pick Flash Step, but it's still that same old notification, such a tired cliché. However, this time the system seems a bit better. Even if you can't learn it, you can use rewards to upgrade Flash Step a little. Since you lack the skill of story navigation, we can't fully materialize it, the system suddenly explained clearly. Baek Yoo Son was totally clueless, spacing out for a few seconds, then asked back, "What's that?" The system quickly replied, "The ability to steer the story's flow is called story navigation skill. If you keep uncovering hidden story branches like yesterday, it will accumulate." Baek Yoo Son nodded, pretending to understand, but the real issue was that the system couldn't provide powerful items because he was still a newbie, not at the right level yet. After going back and forth, Baek Yoo Son still demanded a Buon Buon glass. It's an item that stores all the info he had gathered so far. In the easy world, recalling or reading info about monsters you've encountered or knowledge you've gained is impossible. So players created many items to store info in their own ways. And of course, it's the same here. He put everything into the Buon Buon glass. With this rare item, Baek Yoo Son immediately opened it and put it on, feeling hyped as hell. "Here, I don't even know how far I can push this system. But with this glass, I can recover half of the abilities I once had," he checked, while his heart was racing. Lost in thought, suddenly the sound of footsteps nearby snapped Baek Yoo Son back to reality. "Hey, isn't that Isekai? She's the youngest daughter of the traitor Dutch Moon Yu. Damn, how does she dare show up here? Maybe she heard that." Baek Yoo Son quickly looked up and saw the blue-haired girl who had helped him before. Then he remembered one of the Buon Buon glass's abilities is to register or check info on characters in the storyline. Gotta try it right away. That girl's info popped up instantly in front of him. Iso Moon, the fake female lead whom the lightning mage of the Thunder clan underestimated before eating pizza, youngest daughter of the Moon family, whose loss led to the clan's downfall. She's going to be a big deal later. Although Baek Yoo Son is in the easy world, based on the romance story, Don't Love the Princess. That story is about the female lead Iso, who lost her family. She grew up amid the schemes of the villainous Hong Bi-jeon and ended up with the male lead. But the problem is, even though this world is based on that story here, the story is completely different. Currently, an original character named Fo Lem has been added, who took over the protagonist role. Moreover, this Fo Lem character is a woman living in the present day. She's someone who regularly read Don't Love the Princess and got transported into this world. So unlike the story, Iso becomes the fake female lead in the game, while Fo Lem is the real female lead. Although many players tried, she couldn't survive, leading to her being pushed out of the main role. "Baek, take off the glasses, look at that girl, and say something cool. Don't get involved with me, I should just bounce." After a long journey, the new students at Stella Academy are welcomed with a grand and solemn opening ceremony. The principal starts the introduction the same speech every year, but it always feels fresh, like hearing it for the first time. As everyone knows, the Phantom Beasts are mages who borrow power from another world and transform into monsters. At this very moment, the Phantom Beasts continue invading by opening soul gates or releasing ancient dungeons to conquer the magical world from the other side, blah blah. Fast forward to the part where they praise the top scorers of the entrance exam. One by one, they step onto the stage, their faces shining, fitting the main character's role, and of course, Baek Yoo Son, the cat, is spotlighted because of his importance in the story, even more than some NPC shops in the background. The standout among them is the first-year EUC on mage student, with a main skill in elemental manipulation, showing potential close to the elite level. He's a prodigy among geniuses, someone who can control every element in the world. If I can't get the true ending, at least I have to avoid the bad one by bringing EUC on mage back to the good side. Baek Yoo Son silently calculates. But he's still hung up on some things, glancing at the girl next to him, muttering in his head, though it all depends on Fo Lem and her actions from now on. Since she's from the real world like me, getting to know her might be a good idea. But things get complicated if she sees me as an enemy and rejects me. Baek Yoo Son feels pretty nervous, but when the cat approaches, the whole crew ends up screwed, so he has no choice but to go for it. He has plenty of info on her. Fo Lem has a special ability to destroy phantom beasts, but in return, she can weaken those around her. Even though he's afraid of losing all his energy for survival's sake, Baek Yoo Son has to keep the plan going, playing the role of supporting the main character from afar and staying as uninvolved as possible. He firmly confirms in his mind that the next day, his grind to study and pass exams kicks off fast. Sitting in class, feeling like a deer caught in headlights, he silently sighs. "It's been a while since I graduated college, and now I gotta hit the books again. Feels kinda weird." Then he pulls out the watch on his wrist and stares at it for a while. It's awesome to have this item, the Stella Pocket Watch. This watch proves he's enrolled at the prestigious Stella Magic Academy. With it, you get better treatment and service than most people who only have a magic license. Baek Yoo Son excitedly thinks to himself, I want to use this so bad, might as well explore a bit while I'm at it. But yo, the higher the hopes, the bigger the letdowns. Before even stepping out of class, the tall, serious-looking guy orders, you all can sit down now. We're starting the test now, so put away all your stuff except your pens. If you want to use glasses, hand them in for inspection first. Baek Yoo Son doesn't even bother to speak silently waiting, can't believe we're testing right after enrollment. What a mess. The academy's curriculum is tougher than most Korean universities. This is called the placement test, meaning it decides your class. The placement test has nothing to do with the entrance exam and is notoriously brutal. Based on the results, students are sorted into classes from A to F, even S, with most main characters landing in S class. As for Baek Yoo Son, well, he entered dead last out of 1,141 students, so he's automatically considered for class F. The shout to start the test echoes as Baek Yoo Son tenses up completely. He grabs his pen, but the question's all gibberish, like some weird music. Man, I don't get a word of this. Anyway, I made it this far. Can I just hand in a blank? Wonder if I'll get kicked out for that. Just when things were getting tense, he suddenly noticed the big shot sitting alone in the distance, resting his chin on his hand, lost in thought. That was MANHWA RECAP, and of course he had already finished the test and was just bored killing time. MANHWA RECAP was naturally a bored dude, born into the most powerful family in the world, with unmatched brains and talent, so nothing really challenged him. So the heroine's way of dealing with him would decide whether MANHWA RECAP leaned toward good or evil. But the villain MANHWA RECAP wanted to push humanity to the brink of destruction, so naturally they'd try to recruit him. Basically, his family was the biggest deal here. MANHWA RECAP kept staring at him, then felt a weird pity for this loser at the bottom of the class. Looking at the test paper completely blank without a single word, a dark thought popped into his head. Wait, could I use the special glasses here? He used to use them all the time while gaming to collect skills in the library, thinking that he pulled them out to check. But bad luck hit, he got caught by the teacher the moment he pulled them from his pocket. Wait a sec, what are those glasses? I told you, anyone who wants to use glasses has to hand them over for inspection first. Give them here now. MANHWA RECAP was so scared he almost passed out and couldn't react before the teacher snatched them from his hand. The teacher examined them closely, making the poor kid feel like he was about to have a heart attack. What now? If the teacher finds out these are magic glasses, I'm probably getting kicked out. Just thinking about it made the system freak out. Detected a missing part in the glasses. Do you want to call it? MANHWA RECAP was terrified, mouth wide open, but didn't dare to scream, silently begging the system to chill and stay quiet. I don't sense any mana from these, but remember to ask before using next time, the teacher said as he handed the glasses back. MANHWA RECAP grabbed them feeling super lucky. If the original function was still active, it'd be a huge problem. Time was running out, so he quickly put them on to finish the test. This is a game changer, the answers just flowed out. If I end up top of the class, I'm done for. MANHWA RECAP tried hard to copy just enough to avoid failing and maybe even get into the A class. But after only a few questions, time was up and the teacher immediately collected the tests. Talk about bad luck. I only finished 3 questions, thought I'd at least dodge the F grade. Still, that was kinda pushing MANHWA RECAP's limits, the guy silently cried inside. But what the heck now? The teacher suddenly freaked out, shouting, "Hey, give me your glasses right now, hurry up." MANHWA RECAP didn't get what was going on, but the teacher sternly ordered, "Hey, bring Sorcerer Rayhan here." MANHWA RECAP freaked out, rushing over while wondering what the hell was happening. I even wrote out my problem-solving steps so no one would accuse me of cheating. Am I caught red-handed? What do you think, Sorcerer? The teacher asked. After a moment of inspection, Sorcerer Rayhan replied, "It's definitely suspicious that he could answer this, but he didn't cheat. I don't sense any magic from the glasses or his stuff. He wrote the answers using his own skills." Then the teacher patted the kid's back and praised him. "Ho ho, this is interesting. Didn't expect to witness this before I kicked the bucket." Alright, Professor Lee Han-guan apologized to him and guide him properly. The teacher knew he was wrong, and awkwardly apologized. Baek Yoo Son, despite cheating, still had to pretend to be an innocent poet, chuckling, as he replied, "Everyone makes mistakes sometimes, just be more careful next time, teacher." After saying that, Thon Nien finally breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, he hadn't been caught. Professor Lee Han-guan finished grading, but remained suspicious, repeatedly rechecking students' exams. Is this really the freshman exam? I heard this year's freshmen have some pretty interesting characters. Elder Council, member of Stella Academy, Professor Edentum, approached warmly to ask. Professor Li Han Guan calmly confirmed, thinking silently about the top contenders. From the most prestigious elemental alchemy family, Princess Hong Bi-jeon, disciple of Ado Belitz of the Harmony Kingdom. The 12-year-old heir to the Skelvin Empire throne, Jeremy Skelvin, thanks to his magical prowess, who completely outshined his uncles in the war for the crown. And the heir to the world's greatest magic tower, the successor and master of the Higuan Magic Tower, Ryan. The difficulty of this test was designed to challenge the brains of these elite students from famous families. This year's questions are definitely going to be interesting, Professor Edentum said with a cheerful laugh. Just like she said, this year's class leader exam added a new type of question. The first 3 questions are tough for average students to solve. Behind those 3 questions was a purpose, testing flexibility. If they hit a wall, would they switch to another question right away? Secondly, how would students handle problems never seen in any book they've studied before? The era of rote memorization and theory is over. Tonight is all about learning to fight with flexibility and creative thinking. But it seems the results weren't too promising. The truth is, over 1,141 students skipped those 3 questions. And of the remaining 100 or so who tried, most couldn't come up with a single correct answer. Only 3 managed to solve all 3 questions correctly. Among them was EUC, the prodigy of this century, shining like a star, but no one knows where he came from. And Fo Lem, who was admitted despite commoner origins, but recognized for talent and catching up to EUC, was finally Baek Yoo Son. EUC and Fo Lem are considered geniuses, but Baek Yoo Son had the lowest score. I never thought that kid could solve all these questions. Especially since the kid couldn't even solve the other questions. Professor Li Han Guan held the test papers, thinking to himself. Then the professor turned to ask the 3 teachers beside him if they thought this kid could become a genius. Anything's possible, Professor Edentum shrugged, trying to act as chill as possible. Professor Li Han Guan didn't reply, staring at the weak background info on the kid. The paper was still there. He was admitted specially because his ability to control teleportation was highly rated. So the kid, the principal personally approved to enroll, must be someone else, right? A magic student with a special teleportation skill. He'd find out soon enough. Whether it's just a coincidence or if this kid's truly special, Professor Li Hongguan thought happily to himself. The next day, the exam results were posted on the school's bulletin board. Can't believe I gotta check the Chelup board in person now. Before it was just a click away. Big Use Vaughn, the head of class Lathan, went to check it out. But seriously. What the hell? Just showed up and already getting roasted like this. Is that guy really Big Use Vaughn? I heard he flunked one of the magic application parts in the entrance exam. For real, how'd someone like that get into Stella? No idea what Stella's standards are these days. Big Use Vaughn shrugged, annoyed, thinking, let them talk. I'm just here to check my class and bounce. He glanced from Class C to Class F, knowing there was no way he'd get into those. But what the hell is this? Big Use Vaughn suddenly felt queasy. Why isn't his name anywhere? They're not kicking me out just because I only solved 3 questions right. Damn, am I about to get screwed for real? Just when he was about to pack up and head home in despair, he overheard people talking about his name. Big Use Vaughn rushed over to check, but his eyes went wide in shock when he saw he was placed in Class S. Why the hell is my name stuck there? No way, what kind of sick joke is this? His mind was racing. Gotta know Class S is the most elite class every student dreams of. It's where the most exceptional students from the top magic academy Stella gather. Unlike other grades split into multiple classes, Class S has only 41 students in a single class. And I'm in Class S. Am I losing it? This is insane. Looks like I'm gonna be dealing with the main characters more often now. Hanging with those guys will only get me into trouble sooner or later. Can't even request a class transfer, so I'll just keep to myself as much as possible. Bacchus on Soirel thought silently, then quickly prepared to follow the rules. Meanwhile, in a dark room, no one knew the location of. You got 3 questions wrong. Even Princess Iso from that noble house only missed 2. How did you even mess up the questions that the lowlifes got right? That means you're worse than those pests. You should reflect on your mistakes and try again. Got it, Bijin Hongjiao, the fire element professor harshly scolded the girl. Bijin looked lost, like a fish out of water, silently enduring the abuse with meek obedience. Hongjiao wasn't done yet. She moved closer to drill her cold thoughts into the girl's head. Listen, you can't turn into someone like me. You can't be the one kicked out of the kingdom, clinging to this dumb professor role. You're not allowed to become the kingdom's disgrace. You have to be better than your sister. You know what I mean, right? Yes, Mother Bijin replied blankly, too shy to cry out loud, silently thinking, I don't get it. I just live and study the way I was taught. But there are questions I haven't learned yet, spells I haven't been taught, equations I don't even know. Why do you treat me like this? When class started, Baek Yoo Son sat in a corner, resting his chin on his hand, deep in thought. Why did I get transferred to a place full of weirdos like this? No one to chill with like my old high school buddies. Just when things got a little peaceful, everyone started pointing fingers, making me feel like a total outcast. But I guess it makes sense. They've been grinding hard since they were kids. Even I'd wish to roll with them if I were half as cool. Whatever, there'll be more chances to switch classes after each test. I'll just roll with it. Class S isn't any different. Of course, plenty have been demoted already, Baek Yoo Son thought cheerfully to ease his mind. He looked around at his classmates feeling awesome. These main characters were right in front of him. In just a few years, most of them would be world famous. And about 5 of them had the potential to shake up the magic world. Baek Yoo Son was one of them. Thinking that Baek Yoo Son glanced at Fo Lem, hoping she could stop all this from happening from the start. All right everyone, take your seats, the teacher said, opening the door and calming the chaos. Professor Hien stood on the podium and began the introduction. Once they learned he was the class professor, the students started buzzing excitedly. So that's the famous Professor Lee Hang-won. The number of magic users who've reached level 4 is almost there, right? Everyone calls her a level 7 magic warrior, definitely someone at a high rank. After the introductions, the teacher started the lesson. But wait, suddenly from outside the door, Bijin strode in with a cold, indifferent vibe. The girl with messy hair and a swollen face walked in saying something to the teacher. Baek Yoo Son was pretty surprised, couldn't help but wonder in his mind. Why is Bijin a guy who always follows the rules acting like this? What's going on? Curious, he quickly pulled out his glasses to take a closer look. The name's Bijin Master Adobolitz, the villain fire mage, red ginseng clip wielder. Who burns himself, only drinks espresso, Sofa Akalia style, has a wicked mom, definitely a tough case. If ISO dies because of Fo, then Bijin's out cold, thanks to both Fo and ISO. You could say, it's the inevitable fate of a villain character. I want to save her too, if I could, but I'm not at the level to help anyone yet, Baek thought deeply. He sighed, feeling frustrated, but could only keep his distance. But speaking of distance, Bijin suddenly appeared right in front of him. Even sat right next to the young woman. Seriously, this is wild. What the heck? Why does it feel like everything was rigged from the start? The teacher on the podium rambled on explaining the rules. He crossed his arms and said, let's wrap this up before the students get bored. Before we start, we'll have a staff inheritance ceremony to find the staff you'll use at school. Class S and Class A will hold the ceremony together. Baek Yoo Son sat down pretty focused. Even though the ceremony seemed a bit dull, he was kind of looking forward to it. There are 2 big ceremonies at Stella Academy. One is the close contract ceremony, the other is the staff inheritance. Teacher Silly Hangguan led the students to the spot and briefly explained the staffs arranged from the lowest to the common level. You just need to pick the staff you like the most and take it. Changing staffs after choosing is super complicated, so please choose carefully. Sounds easy like pie, but it's actually tough and tricky. On the surface you're picking a staff, but really you're picking the person. In the mythical world, staffs only respond to those they deem worthy, causing a resonance effect. Simply put, you can't just get a high-level staff because you want it. Which one should I pick? Baek Yoo Son pondered, scanning around in his head. If it was before, you wouldn't hesitate to just pick the staff meant for Class F, but now that you're in Class S, you gotta think this through carefully. Thon Nien glanced around his attention, snagging on a nearby wand. Staffs usually come in 2 types, short wands and long staves. Wands are typically used by knights who cast magic fast. On the other hand, staves are wielded by the daring classes focusing on a single powerful strike with a longer casting time. The other students were busy picking their staffs while sneaking glances to see which one Baek Yoo Son would choose, hoping for some juicy drama. While hiding low, someone suddenly called him out. Baek Yoo Son turned around and asked who it was. The guy quickly replied, "It's me, UXL. I know what's up. Which staff are you planning to pick? You should pick a staff that matches your status a bit, you know. Don't stir up trouble and give the professors more headaches." Thought he was being nice, but nope, it was just a hassle. Baek Yoo Son rolled his eyes, turned away and told him to keep his advice to himself. The guy got ignored and started yelling, gearing up for a fight. Baek Yoo Son was too bored to respond, pulled out his glasses and checked the guy's info. UXL, a blue-blooded marquis's son, a third-tier bully under Prince Jeremy. That's all the info, so what's this guy really about? Baek Yoo Son wondered, eyeing him suspiciously. The guy angrily pointed at the staff and declared, "Look, I'm picking that staff over there, so watch closely." Hearing that Baek Yoo Son was shook, the staff was the Edmuri Etamiri. The highest grade staff here, a mid-tier staff. Mid-tier staves are usually used by professional magic warriors. Meaning no matter how talented you are, mid-tier staves are limited when it comes to students, because even pro magic warriors can only handle mid-tier staves. There's another mid-tier staff besides this one, but it's not here for picking, it's more for show. The teacher was still hesitating, so the instructor urged, "Everyone go, pick the staff you like." As soon as those words dropped, countless radiant lights burst out, and everyone's jaws dropped buzzing with excitement. Whoa, isn't the staff? Hey Won picked the Haiden Amigoten, that's a mid-tier staff. Prince Skelvin also picked a mid-tier one. Princess Bision chose the Suavik Yuzo Lahavan, which is also a mid-tier staff. So how many people can actually upgrade a mid-tier staff? Only certified mages can use those, right? Yuzo Lahavan got pushed aside, like old trash, just wait, I'm gonna make it mine. Then Han stepped up to the middle-class master staff and reached out to grab it. Hey, watch closely, I'm about to show you what real S-rank talent looks like, Han thought excitedly. But rushing in too early often leads to mistakes. The moment Han grabbed the staff, a burst of light flashed, and Yuzo Lahavan collapsed unconscious on the ground. The fans panicked, shouting for someone to call a teacher. Baek Yoo Son, standing nearby watching the drama, thought Han totally deserved it, since the owner of that master staff was already predetermined. And sure enough, right after that, someone else grabbed it. That someone was none other than Ma Yuzo. Everyone was shocked, yelling in disbelief that a new student could hold such a high-level master staff. No way, right? Seeing how Ma Yuzo held and examined the staff with a sly grin, gave Baek Yoo Son chills down his spine. You weren't ready for this, huh? Ma Yuzo then turned and smiled at the young guy, shocking him to his core as he tried to calm himself down. What the hell? Is this dude crazy, or what? Anyway, Fo Lem also owns another high-level master staff called Terry Vaughn, but this might be the moment the story splits. If Fo Lem grabs Terry Vaughn, Ma Yuzo will start noticing her genius, and that'll kick off Ma Yuzo's storyline. But if she picks a different staff, it'll open a totally different path. I gotta use Fo Lem to pull Ma Yuzo to the good side, Baek Yuzo thought, gearing up to make a move. As Fo Lem approached, the guy kept mumbling prayers to his ancestors, hoping she'd pick Terry Vaughn. Only then could they catch Ma Yuzo's attention and have a better shot at a happy ending. But what the hell? She totally ignored Terry Vaughn and walked off somewhere else. Baek Yuzo was stunned, his face twisted in disbelief. What the heck? Does she not know about the master staff, or is she missing info? Either way, things are looking grim. Fo Lem can resonate with any master staff since she's the heroine. But what if she picks a lame one? Then we're screwed, losing all chances for better routes. The more he thought about it, the darker the future looked. He had to get Terry Vaughn into her hands as soon as possible. So Baek Yuzo dashed straight at Fo Lem in a blink. Before she could say a word, he spoke up. Haha, hey there, so which master staff you gonna pick? Why do you wanna know? Fo Lem snapped. Baek Yuzo tried to cover. I just figured you might still be undecided, so I wanna help. Fo Lem got more annoyed, sensing he was dodging the question, and refused to engage any further. Baek Yuzo got totally ghosted, feeling weird since she should be friendly with everyone. Why so cold? No time to quit now. His life depended on this. He kept trying to chat, but Fo Lem shot him down hard. He smiled gently, calming himself before trying again. Yeah, I've heard a lot about you. Don't you think you could hold that staff over there? He pointed at Terry Vaughn. Fo Lem asked again, and Baek Yuzo nodded happily. Yeah, that one. Then, suddenly, a strange sound echoed, and somehow the staff was already snug in the guy's hand before anyone noticed. Baek Yuzo snapped back to reality, and damn, looking at him just messes with my head. What the hell? Why is he in my hands? Shouldn't it be Fo Lem holding him? This is it. Dude's totally screwed now. No joke, this is wild. He just turned into the main female lead, no cap. After this earth-shattering event, everyone's been buzzing about it everywhere. Makes sense, though no one would stop talking. In history, only 5 people have ever held and created resonance with the senior-level authority. And these guys actually pulled it off. If they hadn't, that'd be the real surprise. What's crazier is that one of the 2 only used teleportation in the magic test, a rare necromantic spell, which just sounds off from the start. Fo Lem was pretty pissed after getting played by Baek Yuzo, on out of nowhere. She didn't even know who he was, but somehow he was holding the staff. Even after reading the original novel 3 times before coming here, she never met a character named Baek Yuzo on. He also said no one could wield Terry Vaughn's staff, so how the hell was he resonating with it so effortlessly? If that's true, then he's definitely trying to flex on me. Fo Lem's hair flicked in irritation as she thought harder. After some casual chit-chat with friends, she bounced to the study room to catch the drama. It was a special extra class. According to the original novel, Iso and Hong Bijeon would join this meeting. Seeing the main female lead and villain from a novel face-off sounds hella important, Fo Lem thought, then quickly stepped inside. All the key players were there. The host was Kile Lop A, and even Ma Yu-sung showed up. If she wasn't shocked, then who would be? Ma Yu-sung is considered the male lead of this world, yet he's oddly interested in Baek Yoo Son. For Lem quietly observed, analyzing the situation. This definitely wasn't a joint effort, and Baek Yoo Son couldn't solve anything beyond those 3 devilish questions. Maybe from the start, Baek Yoo Son knew that cracking those 3 questions was the ticket to Class S. If he really knew and still played dumb, this dude's dangerous as hell. They were all smiling and chatting, but Baek Yoo Son found Ma Yu-sung annoying as hell and just wanted to scream for someone to take him away and not use him. Ma Yu-sung didn't even notice the attitude. He kept smiling, firing off question after question, even calling out close names straight up scary. Yoo Son, why are you here? You don't have to sit through this. Got some special reason? Baek Yoo Son felt a little teary inside, but just mumbled a vague answer. Truth was, he was forced to come because of low scores. Ma Yu-sung acted like a hardcore fan, staring at Baek Yoo Son non-stop, with eyes full of admiration, like a fruit vendor's biggest customer. Alright, that's enough, folks. Today we're going to review the issues from the recent test. As you all know, this year's placement test had insanely hard questions, so tough, they're called the 3 devil questions. And I solved one of those 3. Kile Lop A spoke up, saving Baek Yoo Son's ass. The kid scanned the top students, then looked at Baek Yoo Son, feeling a flicker of hope, though he wondered why the top dogs even bothered showing up. His plan was to spread his rep by schooling the weaklings, but hey, there's still a shot. I heard that Baek Yoo Son over there got the lowest score on the placement test, so I gotta show that guy what real skill looks like. Saying that, Kile started playing the role of a teacher, going on and on. Meanwhile, Yoo Son was still staring intently at Yoo Son, thinking, what do you think? Do you think what he's doing is right? Naturally, just seeing that smile on his face gave me chills down my spine, making me want to disappear right then and there. What the hell did that guy just say? Is he actually doing it right? From the start, I didn't even get what he was doing. And what's up with those 3 devilish questions? Whatever, just spill the truth already, Yoo Son thought before speaking out loud. No, I don't know. His words made the whole class go dead silent, all eyes instantly turning to him. Kile froze right in front of the board, then fired back. Did I mess up? Come on, Yoo Son, why don't you get up here and give it a shot? This is a total loss, caught in Ma Yoo Son's trap. Yoo Son had no choice but to close his eyes and take a wild guess, stepping up to try. The desk bell was put on, and the words started flowing like a river. Let's see those 3 devilish questions. Why do they sound like some pun game from you? According to this example, a mage cast a spell with the chant, "O Earth, please shed tears," and the amount of dust doubled compared to before. Why is that? The answer's simple, the dust is crying. It's just a state of separation. After reading the example on the board, Yoo Son felt totally lost, thinking, who even comes up with these test questions? That guy, Kyle over there, solved it like it was some math problem talking about soil separating when it cries or something like that. His method was wrong, but luckily got the right answer by chance. But if there's another question like this, he's definitely gonna mess it up. Honestly, I can't teach you how to solve it, but I can show you where you're messing up, Yoo Son said after some thought. Of course, Kile wouldn't accept that, stubbornly arguing his way was right. But after getting his pride poked and realizing he was wrong, he had no choice but to grab his books and start learning. Fo up there was totally shocked watching this scene, looking confused about what was going down, while others were jotting down what Yoo Son said. Even Iso and Hong Bijun, who should have been arguing by now, were focused on the issue. Is this really okay? Yoo Son wondered silently. After successfully playing the teacher role, Yoo Son smiled brightly at Ma Yoo Son's promise to meet again tomorrow. Though he looked happy as soon as Ma Yoo Son left, the guy immediately lost it. Damn life, why did I have to get tangled up with this Ma Yoo Son? Forget tomorrow, I don't want to see your face until I'm dead and gone. He held his head, wondering why that guy was paying attention to him when none of the other characters did, except Fo up there. While thinking, he suddenly saw Hong Bijun at the door, and Yoo Son walked past coldly. Just when you thought he'd ignore her, she suddenly called him back, sharply. Yoo Son, I've got something to ask you. The guy's face went pale, he turned around stammering, "What's up?" Bijun snapped back with an annoyed tone, "Why didn't you explain the solution earlier?" Baek Yoo Son was totally frozen, wanting to scream at her. It's not that I didn't explain, I just couldn't. How the hell do you logically solve a question that vague? Seeing no reply, Bijun awkwardly continued, "I get it, you don't want to share your solution here, right? Then I'll come to you, Baek Yoo Son blurted out in surprise. "I'll make it up to you fair and square. So, just spill whatever's on your mind." The more Baek Yoo Son heard, the more confused he got, letting out a sigh before heading to the library with the group. Holding some test papers, the guy asked curiously, I don't get why you're paying me to understand just 3 questions from that placement test. I've got my reasons, so just tell me. Yeah, ma'am, but you only got 3 questions wrong. Don't you feel embarrassed asking someone like me who failed everything? Bijun replied coolly, no, the only thing I'm ashamed of is not knowing how to solve these questions yet. If I can find the answers, I'm down to do whatever it takes. Sounds like a model student, Baek Yoo Son, still puzzled, asked. But why me? You're a top dog, so you must have plenty of other friends to ask. Bijun was shocked, hearing that, then explained why he came to him. Out of 1,141 new students, if you can even count how many got all 3 devilish questions, right, only 3 did, and you're one of them. Bijun stopped to run his hand through his hair, then continued, some of these are trick questions that can't be solved. But Yuzo on Folem, and you managed to crack them, so now I'm stuck in a tough spot. Baek Yoo Son was shocked, suddenly yelling in panic. These are supposed to be hard questions, no one else could solve them. Now you get why I got into S class, and why Folem's been distant with you. Baek Yoo Son didn't know all the details about this world, didn't even realize there were questions this tough. But Folem was different. He'd read the entire novel, so even if he didn't know the side story, he definitely understood the plot setup, including these 3 tough questions. But suddenly a side character, not in the original story, popped up, barging in, forcing Folem to accept Baek Yoo Son's presence. Damn, so that's why he's acting like that, Baek Yoo Son muttered, head hanging low. Seeing him so down, Bijun asked if he was okay, but got brushed off. He seriously looked at her, still remembering, he promised to grant me one favor for helping him solve this question. I have a super simple request, turn my staff into a magic mirror sword. The blacksmiths in your kingdom can easily do that, right? Only mercenaries use that kind of weapon, so Bijun was pretty skeptical. But Baek Yoo Son tried to cover it up in his own style, instead of flat out telling him he was flawed. Finally, the negotiation worked out. Now it's time to get down to studying. Baek Yoo Son pointed and said, alright, let me show you how to solve this. First, change your perspective. You should know Bijun's weakness is strictly following the book, and that's what got him stuck. But he only realized that in his 2nd year, after losing in a classic way. I don't think I can help him gain clear vision, but as long as he's heading in the right direction, that's enough, Baek Yoo Son thought and quickly dived into a detailed explanation. Do you know what a pun is? Bijun paused, then replied, meaningless, but I think I've heard of it. Let me give you an example. What's between your knees? Bijun thought hard, then slowly answered the back of the knee. No, the answer is and. He eagerly explained, you asked what's between the knees, remember? Bijun went silent, then blushed, realizing he'd just been pranked. Baek Yoo Son smiled slyly, trying to calm her down. Hey, don't look at me like that, chill, and look back at the question. There are tons of equations and formulas you don't know yet, so you gotta solve it by using your creativity. Can you learn how to be creative? Bijun's eyes lit up, his expression changed, and he listened quietly. Of course, knowing lots of spells and techniques is important, but for a mage, the most crucial thing is breaking through your own mental limits. Magic can evolve with even the smallest change. But you're thinking the same way you always have. Magic isn't just about memorizing and casting spells. You might be better than me at analytical thinking, but you're missing the most important thing that makes a mage: creativity. Seeing Bijun still silent and serious, Baek Yoo Son thought he was totally screwed. Scratching his head, he asked if she understood. Bijun lit up, saying she totally got it. Even Baek Yoo Son barely understood what he just said, but she got it crazy right. Then Baek Yoo Son started asking the dumbest riddles he'd ever heard. Bijun barely answered any, almost ready to cry. Baek Yoo Son was scared out of his mind. When a girl cries, no matter what a guy does, it's always wrong. He tried to come up with the easiest question possible. What would the clouds say to the sea when it rains? Bijun was deep in thought, and Baek Yoo Son silently hoped she'd get it right, because he was out of ideas. I'm falling into the sea, she answered. Baek Yoo Son was stunned, then finally said, you nailed it. Hearing that, Bijun burst out laughing happily. It was the first time Baek Yoo Son saw her smile like that, so he was pretty shocked and spaced out for a bit. To keep things going, Baek Yoo Son praised her. You really are the queen, your creativity just leveled up. Bijun was super happy, but had to play it cool, pretending to be shy while nudging him to stop asking and move on to another question. And so, after a solid 3 hours, their pointless study session finally ended. Baek Yoo Son's eyes were bloodshot, totally drained, feeling miserable on the way home. Bijun was an amazing mage with a steel mind, but her weakness was her own way of thinking. To exploit that weakness, he had to do it himself. Gotta fix that Teravan staff into a sword with magic, only then can it be used. Alright, that's enough thinking, gotta buy the book and get back to studying. It's gotta be around here somewhere. I'm not just gonna stand around Baek Yoo Son muttered as he wandered looking for it. After a while, the guy finally spotted what he needed. It was an old bookstore, but inside, it held tons of priceless stuff. Baek Yoo Son knew for sure that Maela's research, the top graduate from Stella Academy 10 years ago, was hidden there. Before info popped up on the screen with just a button press, but in real life, you need the actual textbooks for your major. Plus, the rate you level up depends on the type of book you use. At first, I bought books from famous stores, but the best ones are hidden in places like this, with no signs. Baek Yoo Son thought back and quietly planned. If I study magical science while holding Maela's research, I'm guaranteed to level up fast. Just gotta put on these glasses and I'll get high scores. Just thinking about it got me hyped. Ah, here it is. Finally found the book tucked in the corner. Just as I reached for it, someone else wanted it too. Surprise, surprise, Baek Yoo Son exclaimed ISO. She turned around and asked, "How do you know me?" Baek Yoo Son awkwardly explained, "Of course, you're pretty famous." ISO smiled and replied kindly, "Oh, I remember now, you're in the backup group, your name's Baek Yoo Son, right? I really liked your presentation though, it's a shame you didn't finish explaining. Anyway, it's nice to meet you." Then she walked off to pick out a book she liked. Baek Yoo Son glanced over, wondering if she didn't remember meeting him before entering the academy. Just as I thought, ISO still hasn't figured out the answer to that question. Luckily, the books Thon needed hadn't been taken yet, and seeing her hesitate over the prices Baek Yoo Son could kinda understand. You see, this place mostly sells used books, so it's where broke students like him usually hang out. Since ISO lost everything due to family troubles, she probably had no choice but to come here. Damn, she was killed by a demon assassin. It's really sad, a princess like her coming here to buy books, but stressing over the price, 'cause she's broke. Baek Yoo Son felt mad sympathy for her, and sighed deeply. Plus, ISO's fate in the original story wasn't any better. She actually died before Fo Len, who later became the main character of the world. You could say ISO got hit by a serious curse in this world. Feeling sorry but also broke himself, Baek Yoo Son just let her grab the books he needed and headed to pay. ISO was pretty surprised by the topics Thon Nien bought. All of them were high-level Siling theory stuff. It's an ancient magic that requires using an artifact, so in this world of alchemy and magic science, not many people use it anymore. Baek Yoo Son smiled brightly, then turned to her with a puzzled look and said, "Yeah, it's a topic not many folks use. That's why I picked it. If everyone was like you, wouldn't it be way easier for me to top the class? Anyway, I'm outta here." Just like ISO said, very few people choose Siling's theory class. But even with that, Baek Yoo Son could spend less time on it and still score higher than other classes. On the second day, ISO dragged herself to the Void Magic class, thinking it'd be easy to get good grades, so it couldn't be that bad. But surprise, surprise, since everyone thought that the class was packed. Sitting there barely holding on until the boring lecture ended so she could go grab some food. ISO was exhausted, barely scribbling notes. This was a real pain. If everyone in every class signed up for this, getting a scholarship would be tough. Just then, her stomach growled, and looking at the meal tickets for the semester, she felt even worse. She only got 60 meal tickets for the whole semester, so today, she'd probably just have a couple of sandwiches. But before she could eat, she passed by the next classroom and saw Baek Yoo Son sitting there, fully focused on the lecture. ISO scanned the class only a few people, and mostly those with low grades. A sudden thought hit her: if she signed up for this class, her grades could go up without much effort. And if she used that extra time to study other subjects, she might snag more scholarship money. Thinking that, she looked back at Baek Yoo Son, who was leaning on his hand deep in thought. I wonder if he knew from the start that this quest was super easy to score points on. Did he plan from the beginning to make this semester a breeze? Wondering and then answering himself, ISO shook his head to dismiss that dark thought. No way, that can't be. It probably just a coincidence. She knows it's not just a coincidence, but if she jumps into this quest, maybe it'll turn out just like I think, easy money. While the professor was droning on about the 12 holy moons on the board, Baek Yoo Son glanced over and was startled to see ISO sitting right there. I don't remember any main character picking this class, but whatever, it's none of my business. The mage who founded magic left behind the 12 holy moons, and then vanished. Does anyone here know about the 12 holy moons? The teacher asked, looking down at the students. ISO, sharp as ever, quickly replied that the 12 holy moons are known as the guardians who maintain the balance of power across the continent. Everyone says they're scattered all over the continent, carrying their duty on their shoulders for over 1,000 years. Professor Lei Dan chimed in fast. Yeah, that's right, they have special powers to protect this land. For example, the holy moon representing summer, the red summer moon, uses a red flame as its symbol. Legend says those flames never go out. If you head to the deep sea of Alamanca, you can still witness those flames. If you're curious, don't hesitate to check it out. The teacher makes it sound so easy, like just go see it if you want. But just one step into the territory of the Lion King Alamanca, and you're toast, instantly wiped out. According to the teacher, each holy moon has different powers. But legend says when they all gather together, a miracle happens. What that miracle is, no one knows, because they've been asleep for 1,000 years. Baek Yoo Son nodded along, clearly agreeing. Yeah, at least I've met a few of the holy moons before. But I've only met 5, and the timing of those events was limited. That many is thanks to me grinding info from other players. No one else has met more holy moons than I have. If my guess is right, those 12 holy moons are definitely tied to the true ending. No one's reached the true ending in the past 10 years. So the answer has to be somewhere no one's found yet. I've only met 5 of them after nearly dying 1,000 times. Thinking about that, Baek Yoo Son felt a bit tense. But if I want that final ending, I don't have any other choice. Gotta risk it and eat big, start over from scratch then. Meanwhile, in Professor Hong Yo's class, everyone's listening and doing hands-on practice. The teacher led the students to be super careful, cause no matter how strong the attack is, if you just dodge it right, it becomes useless instantly. No one's really nailed it, yet not even Baek Yoo Son. Looks like she's about to get hit hard instead of eating lunch. Baek Yoo Son didn't get discouraged. She sat down to think about her earlier mistakes. Damn, I missed the finishing move right in front of mom again. She must be so disappointed. While lost in thought, a classmate came over with a friendly smile to say hi. Hey princess, you okay? Seeing Baek Yoo Son silent, the girl spoke up. You're really good princess. You use magic like me, but way stronger, like 1,000 times. Baek Yoo Son felt like being treated like a freak, like I didn't even aim properly. No matter what the girl said, she kept smiling and praising, clearly admiring her big time. Baek Yoo Son finally noticed this friend was also a harmony-type mage named Agzuan, if she remembered right. She felt like she'd heard that name somewhere before. A genius harmony mage had appeared. Yet all this time I thought she was nothing compared to my magic. Baek Yoo Son thought it over, and opened up chatting comfortably with her friend for a bit. Then she went back to her room, but her mood was worse than ever. Back at Sia, Eteran drinks and ginseng were ready as usual. Baek Yoo Son sighed and sat down to enjoy them, trying to shake off the fatigue. Meanwhile, the bodyguard reported on the job about fixing the staff the princess asked me to handle last time. That staff is so good, they said it was forged into a high-level magic sword. But there were some questions. I heard the staff kept draining mana from its owner. Baek Yoo Son popped a candy and asked back, "What? Is that some dark mage tool or something?" The bodyguard thought for a moment, then replied, "No, it's a bit different from that. That staff always resonates with natural energy." Hearing this, Baek Yoo Son was super curious. No way it drains the owner's mana and resonates with natural mana. How can a common grade staff do that? If the bodyguard kept explaining to his innocent boss, it's not just a common staff. Its original ability was to boost the owner's mana, transforming into a high-level staff, or even stronger. But since it drained the owner's mana, it got downgraded to just a high-grade common staff. The more Baek Yoo Son thought about it, the emptier his mind felt. How could a student even use something like that? I know it's not there, so we can resonate with it right from the start. But I don't think most people would choose to use a staff like that. Even if given one, they wouldn't dare hold it. You'd need to have massive mana inside you or forget about it. She slumped down, helpless, saying, "I still don't get it, but I bet that commoner guy will figure it out soon enough. Anyway, he's pretty special." And when the new semester started, in all the classes he registered for, Baek Yoo Son was the center of attention, even catching the professors off guard with his skill level. To nail the plan for high grades and a scholarship, Iso kept tabs on Baek Yoo Son and tried to ask him about it. She figured out a few things about Baek Yoo Son while tailing him. Grades don't matter at all. He's definitely smart, even on par with the top students. She guessed he was at least college level, no professor level, yet he solved problems in foot mode. At first I dismissed it, but now I'm sure. And this guy went all out registering for courses. So, with that in mind, ISO didn't hesitate to stop Baek Yoo Son in the hallway, and straight up asked, "What's your next class?" First time a girl asked him personal stuff like that, the dude was super shy, asking why you want to know, you like me or what? Hearing him say that ISO just wanted to die, laughing, damn, I've seen way worse. At that moment, she openly admitted she was researching the classes he signed up for, and since he seemed to ace every class easily, she wanted to ask where he learned that stuff. Baek Yoo Son couldn't believe his sneaky plan got exposed like that in public. He could only pretend he didn't know anything. It was all just a coincidence, then find a way to bail. ISO freaked out quickly, pleading, "Wait, please just hold on a sec." The teacher was still trailing them, so Baek Yoo Son turned and gave an excuse to refuse. Why are you following me? You learn those things from others. There are plenty of smart people here, or just do what I do. You said you already researched it. ISO was almost in tears after being rejected. She looked at him with hopeful eyes, explaining that if she joined, it might affect his grades. So she wanted to plan to join a different class herself. Baek Yoo Son's feeling touched. If she doesn't get the scholarship, she's basically out of hope. Yet she's still worried about someone else's grades. Even though he's a bit annoying, the female lead is still the female lead, huh? Seeing Baek Yoo Son just standing there, staring at him, he asked, "Can you hook me up with a class, like one that's easy to score high in?" Thought the guy would help, but he hit back with a pretty slick comeback. "You think you can use your looks to sway me?" ISO joined in the teasing, leaving Baek Yoo Son dumbfounded. Weird, usually when I look in the mirror I start to lose myself. Hearing that you can't help but laugh, damn that's savage. ISO chuckled. "Just messing with you, I know you like this stuff, so I've got some rewards ready." Baek Yoo Son's eyes lit up instantly, switching gears right away. "You know anything about the ghost story of the 7th tower?" Not many know about it since it's an abandoned structure that's vanished. They even put up white fences to keep people away from where the tower used to stand, but, hearing this, Baek Yoo Son suddenly cut May off. "Stop right there. The guy's about to lose it. That's huge info." Since seeing it, Fo Lam's love for the male lead has only grown. Plus, if Fo Lam knows about this, ISO definitely knows too in the original story. And she only shared this info with the male lead, not some side character like you. Just thinking about it freaked Baek Yoo Son out. He didn't dare hear another word, and turned to walk away. ISO kept chasing after him, begging. Seeing that hopeful look on his face, Baek Yoo Son softened up a bit and decided to spill some info. "Listen, this might not affect your grades much, but it'll be super useful for you. Join the meditation journey to the abyss, and treat it like your liberal arts class." ISO didn't get it, and asked why. Baek Yoo Son had no clue how to explain, so he made up some excuse. "My master's a mage like you, and just by meditating she boosts her power. It's not proven yet, but for mages who use large-scale destructive magic, meditation is super important. Because the precision in long-term training depends on how you do it and the balance within you. But ultimately, it comes from your mind, the thing that moves your mana." ISO kinda believed it, but with Baek Yoo Son's smooth talk, she nodded along and didn't keep pestering him. Watching her walk away, the guy felt more worried than relieved. He'd really told her everything. Just thinking about how it could change the future already freaks me out. But if I let her live in that fear, ISO's gonna get swallowed up in this tragedy. If meditation can help her, then great. Like right now, Baek Yoo Son suddenly remembers, he's a mage, so why hasn't he trained at all until now? Baek Yoo Son used to train super hard, which awakened his divine body and made him way stronger. But now he's lazy as hell, so no wonder he's weak. That's why this dude decided to get some real practice in. So right after getting back to the dorm, Baek Yoo Son hops on his bed and starts meditating. Stats aren't the most important thing. This is reality, so he needs to level up fast. Before, Baek Yoo Son was a genius who could manifest his sword aura by controlling mana flow in and out of his body. Since no one cared about items, they didn't realize Baek Yoo Son was a sword prodigy and the only one in the world to reach the peak of swordsmanship. "I just gotta walk that path again. My breath will control the mana flow in this body. If I can slowly increase mana deeper with every breath, I'll have enough after just one breath. Skills don't level up just by gaining experience. I gotta keep using the skill to rank up. To do that, I gotta grind hard," Baek Yoo Son thought, and just sat there, breathing in and out. Before long, dawn broke. Hard work pays off, right? A faint glow suddenly radiated from him. System alert popped up, mana syndrome skill leveled up, blink skill leveled up. Awesome, Baek Yoo Son warmed up. He took another step toward the goal. Now he just has to find the real ending no matter what, easy peasy. The next day, the teacher took the whole class outside to test their skills before the main lesson. The grassy field and breeze were all magic made, but it felt so real. Stella's dome is a spatial dimension set up right on the academy grounds. It lets you freely control the size of the place, which is its special feature. Sports festivals, events, dungeon raids, and monster chaos all happen here because of that. From afar, Lem watched the students and quietly calculated 141, total 50 in Class A, 150 in A, 2 and 41 in Class S. According to the original lore, Class S only had 39 students, plus me, makes 40. But there's an extra person added. Where the heck did this Baek Yoo Son come from? In the lore, the first-year batch had 1,140 students, and with me it's 1,141. In other words, Baek Yoo Son's part of the original lore too. I'll figure everything out eventually. Stay calm, you got this. After all, I'm the only one in the world who knows this is just a world inside a lore book. Lost in thought, the nearby crowd started gossiping and bothering him. The guy at the center is Prince Jeremy, who in the lore was obsessed with Iso, but got rejected by her. In the end, he turned out to be the villain. He seems kind, but every move he makes is calculated. I gotta be careful not to get tangled up with this guy, Forlem thought. But just as she decided to avoid him, the charming prince turned back and flashed her a seductive smile. Forlem, out of luck with reincarnation, immediately dropped her guard and waved back. No wonder he always has a crowd following him. After a while, the teacher arrived and gave a quick rundown of the training. They'd be training in a dungeon filled with traps and monsters to test everyone's level. You'd get 4 points for killing a level 1 monster, 8 for level 2 and 20 if you snagged the scoring stick from the teacher's hand. The top 5 students would get a small reward and special perks when shopping. Those who scored 0 would lose points. You could team up if you were solo, but you'd lose points. Plus, if you defeated another student, you'd gain their points. Right after the teacher's briefing, the group teleported to the dungeon, as he said. Ahead of them were the dungeon and the magic beanstalk. The students quickly paired up to start the mission. Forlem, being the main character, naturally had people wanting to team up, but she flat out refused, preferring to go solo. An hour later, Forlem was crawling through the dungeon, feeling pretty beat. She was exhausted, and wondering when this lame training would finally end. While moving around, she got ambushed, not just by monsters, but even the trees attacked. Stella Academy's training was no joke, even dungeon training was intense. Forlem had only scored 18 points so far, not bad, but she could be wiped out instantly by that scoring stick. Though tired, she had to push through for another round. Suddenly she spotted a figure ahead. Was that a monster? No, a person, Forlem exclaimed in surprise. Strangely, this person managed to hide their presence. She cautiously moved forward to check it out. Whoa, narrow alley, it's Baek Yoo Son, going solo. I remember a bunch wanted to team up with him, but he turned them all down. What's he thinking? While pondering, she noticed Baek Yoo Son holding the scoring stick, so, no doubt he was scheming to snatch it right then and there. No matter who it was, Forlem immediately launched a sneak attack from behind. She mentally mapped out her plan. The distance between them was about 15 meters. At that range, he wouldn't be able to block her move. But she was wrong again. Just as her attack was about to hit, Baek Yoo Son blinked forward like lightning and vanished without a trace. Forlem was stunned, her jaw dropping as she stammered, "How the hell did he dodge a level 1 spell at that distance?" It looked like an easy win, but Forlem had no idea Baek Yoo Son was struggling just as much. After running a bit, he turned back and glared. GIA, was she trying to ask for help, or what shooting spells right here? Luckily, my mana has leveled up, or I'd be in deep trouble. Blink's max range is 12 meters with 2 uses and a 3-second cooldown. Checking his stats, Baek Yoo Son was sweating bullets, silently calculating. I only have 2 blinks left, so if I use this spot wisely, I can still take her down and rack up points, but it's best to keep my distance. Thinking fast, he blinked away to find the safest spot possible. His goal now was to secure 5th place, so no need to risk it anymore. The 5th place reward was decent, boosting health and strength to some extent. Anyway, the top 4 spots would be taken by the main characters. They just needed 3 more scoring sticks to seal the deal, Baek Yoo Son thought. But damn, trying to dodge one mess just landed me in another. Avoiding the main dude, only to run into a bunch of bullies who rob, humiliate, and pick fights. It's Baek Yoo Son from Class S, and those punks up front are standing there all cocky, blocking the way and talking smack. The punk's jaw drops as he slowly remembers who this guy is. This dude's Rider too. Lately, he's been rising up in school as US Lake's enforcer, Jeremy's loyal dog, running some shady crew. Once they clock his identity, the punk's eyes lock onto the 3 magic rods he's holding. Wait, 3 of them. Makes sense though, he's the enforcer for a bully. Owning this school is just expected. As soon as they spot Baek Yoo Son, they start whispering about how he nailed all 3 answers to get into Class S. The punk's itching to throw down, tired of hearing the same old crap with 0 originality. Hey Baek Yoo Son, hand over one of those magic rods as a welcome gift. Ga Jen steps up trying to intimidate, but Baek Yoo Son just stands there cool as hell. You gotta be kidding me, thinking you can take us all on solo. You planning to use that senior level rod of yours, or what? You can't even use magic, right? Bet that rod's useless too, Jiajen sneers, pointing his wand at him. Baek Yoo Son eyes him half-heartedly, quietly plotting his move. Damn, what now? My blink ability's only level 1, so facing a family-born clan member head-on is tough. If I had 3 blinks left. Nah, I still got a trick up my sleeve, the rod in my hand, and I'm in the red zone. So no hesitation, Baek Yoo Son offers the magic rod to him. Ga Jen's pumped, grabbing it right away. Now that's how you play it. But this move's a screw-up on his part. Can he rewind that? Just then, Baek Yoo Son lunges, swings an attack, and snatches a magic rod right from his grip. Raiden stumbles back, pissed off to the max this damn lowlife punk. By the time Raiden realizes he's been played, Baek Yoo Son's already way out of reach, holding up the rod like, thanks for the meetup. Raiden's helpless, his wand's out of juice. You dog, give that back now. Dream on once I got it, ain't nobody getting it back. Baek Yoo Son shoots back with a cocky grin, no thanks. He learned this move during the last fight with the others. These magic rods are seriously broken items. Their durability is insanely high, making them immune to destruction by student magic. They pack the power of magical tools. They're handy for helping other mages cast spells too. But since Baek Yoo Son can only use physical power, this weapon's attack force is maxed out at 100%. Raiden's about to blow a fuse, fuming and yelling at his crew. This punk stole my stuff, how dare he? What are you all standing around for? Get him. Just as he says that, the red zone starts shaking, freaking everyone out big time. Everyone get close and cast your spells and use the pink path to trap them, Raiden ordered again. Baek Yoo Son circled behind them, using the advantage like a rat in a maze. Their attack was decent, but with nearly a decade of direct combat experience, using the terrain was easier than pie. Despite his friends freaking out over the pink magic moving around, Raiden stayed calm and confident. It's still here. Once the tremor stops, you'll definitely spot it. Then we all charge and attack. If we miss, our magic will bounce back on us, so be careful. Better not say anything than spill the beans and mess it all up. Baek Yoo Son rushed from behind, snagging another magic staff, making them panic and swing their wands back at him. Then an explosion went off. Everyone caught the blast, clutching each other in fear. Baek Yoo Son proudly raised his loot like a boss. I'm taking this one too. If I run into my girl later, I gotta gift it to her. That was fun just now, but I'm heading home. Saying that, he blinked out fast, smart move, cause staying meant no chance against them. Seeing those magic staffs in hand, the dude couldn't stop grinning, hyped like he hit the jackpot. If we fought normally, we'd get robbed since we're in a dungeon, so everything's different now. Experience counts. Baek Yoo Son praised himself with a smirk. But he felt something weird, something off, though he couldn't pinpoint what. Just as he turned around, he immediately knew where it was. What the heck? The blast knocked his speed off. Baek Yoo Son panicked and teleported away from the fire magic explosion. Still dazed, not knowing who cast the spell, the owner suddenly stood right in front of him. Hey, civilian, why didn't you grab another staff from them? Hongbi Jian, arms crossed, challenged him boldly. Baek Yoo Son scratched his head awkwardly, clearly confused about something. It's not that I didn't want to take it, I just couldn't. And what does me taking their staff have to do with you? Hongbi Jian stood speechless. Baek Yoo Son quickly realized, if I took all of them, would you try to snatch them from me? I already taught you a lesson. Do you even have any decency? Under this grilling, Hongbi Jian bluntly explained, I'm royalty, since you know that, fight with the dignity of royalty. Stealing from civilians isn't dignified. I'll take you down properly and claim the loot. Dignity, my ass, you love bullying the weak, don't you? Baek Yoo Son shot back sarcastically. The weak, I saw you messing around with them. You didn't even use proper magic to beat them, Bai Jian snapped back. At that moment, she saw Dryden and Baek Yoo Son fighting over the magic staff. About to attack, she realized she couldn't handle 6 enemies alone, so they waited in hiding until their stamina was completely drained before making a move. You should have seen Hongbi Jian's face, eyes wide, mouth agape, when he saw Baek Yoo Son messing around with them, only using teleportation, no other magic at all. Even though they were way weaker than him, they were all mage nobles from the mage clan. If that commoner's strength was enough to toy with them, the only option was to go all out and burn them to ashes. That's exactly why Baek Yoo Son lost his head to a tiny fire spell earlier. Then the princess landed another hit, sucking in the breath like a watchdog, turning back to silently calculate. Hongbi Jian was seriously dangerous just now. Lucky I trained my reflexes beforehand. But dodging those attacks with just 2 teleports, that's tough. What now? Before he could think further, Hongbi Jian teleported away. This time he didn't even use his leader's authority. Baek Yoo Son was like, what the hell, dude? You're holding my leader's authority, and you don't even remember. Hongbi Jian just wanted to smack some sense into him. Didn't he get the basic leader's authority when he enrolled? Only now did Baek Yoo Son realize he got it on enrollment but totally forgot. But even with the leader's authority, there's nowhere to use it. Despite all the reminders, Baek Yoo Son still didn't use his magic wand to fight me. Hongbi Jian was seriously pissed. She treated this like a death match, but the opponent just saw it as a joke. If you're not an idiot, you better fight properly. Otherwise, you're gonna get wrecked. The pissed princess shot daggers with her eyes. Baek Yoo Son was scared of losing face. The pure-hearted princess was tired of talking. He didn't want to fight, but just couldn't. Being treated like a punching bag, he kept getting barraged by her relentless attacks. Baek Yoo Son dodged with teleportation, desperately trying to escape. Damn, even dodging the attack radius was too wide. What now? Suddenly, he heard the dungeon's alarm blaring, rushing like crazy toward the chaos. This time he got lucky. Next time, who knows? Even if he got close to Baek Yoo Son, the flames around her would ignite the moment anyone approached. Baek Yoo Son knew this well from PvP fights with other mages. Baek Yoo Son was way stronger than he thought. If the ground was flat, he'd have been grilled to perfection by now. Clutching 3 staffs tightly, determination burning in his heart, but who really knew who'd end up the winner? With that thought, he ignored everything else and charged straight into the sea of flames. Using his 6th sense and sharp hearing, he skillfully dodged the magic attacks. Baek Yoo Son was shocked beyond belief. No way. Blocking magic with weapons. How's that even possible? As time passed, Baek Yoo Son's senses sharpened. He clearly felt his body moving to directly counter a mage's spell. The flow of magic surged through grasping it within reach. The 6th sense felt familiar, like hearing or sight. Hong Bijin stood still, wondering how he managed to dodge it. With no other choice, she bit her lip, deciding to blast him away with stronger magic. This electric strike benefits Baek Yoo Son more than Bijin's fire attribute, which is why he could dodge it so easily. But just defending like this won't cut it. She needed to break Hong Bijin's magic shield with the staff, then find a chance to blink in. When fire bishops go melee, they unleash a knockout explosion within a 6-foot radius. Baek Yoo Son chuckled, said he'd faced worse, then smashed through the defense with his staff. Hong Bijin staggered, took the hit, and collapsed to the ground. Baek Yoo Son stepped up, flashed a gentle smile. I win. Hong Bijin sat wounded, but still had the strength to question. So what exactly are you? Baek Yoo Son, bored of explaining, glanced back and replied, let's go. Just a normal student. Compared to that, come on, let's grab some foe.